Hello boys and girls, Mr. Unnamed here with another Space Engineers video, bit of an update. I've been playing around with the Aerodynamics mod. As you can see, I've refitted one of my planes and made another one. I'll get to that in a minute. But this one is interesting because it's basically, if I can find it, yes. Hold on. I'm doing it wrong. Hold on. Where is... There we go. Here we go. Okay. So this plane ship here is basically this one here, but heavily modified with the Aerodynamics mod. Now this thing is pretty good. I can get a fair distance out of these wings without any power whatsoever. It's also highly maneuverable, which is amazing, though not as maneuverable as that little ship back there. But as you can see, all I did was remove a few bits here and there and slap some wings on there. And it works. It is amazing. And another interesting fact is that this fairly large fighter craft here weighs exactly the same as this little tiny fighter right here. Now I'm sure you're thinking, oh god, just get on with it, what can these things do? Well, let's hop into this one and you'll see. Let's go ahead and get up in the air. Let's start flying. Now immediately you see my speed just climbing right up, and I can maneuver, just do all kinds of crazy maneuvers with this, and my speed does not drop one bit. I mean, these are absolutely fantastic. This Aerodynamics mod is just amazing. This little ship is so maneuverable, and it takes really extreme maneuvers to kind of get this thing to drop speed, but then it just gets it right back. It's just fantastic. And let me get some altitude here. Change my direction a little bit. As you can see, my speed dropped only a hair. Okay, now we're going to shut off our inertial dampeners and just glide. Drop my nose down a little bit. And you see how little my speed is dropping. My nose is still pointed way too far up. Then just give it a little bit of gas to get up over this hill. As you can see, this thing is just great, and even though it seems like I'm flying mostly straight, my speed is increasing. If I dip it this way and adjust it right here, my speed slowly climbs. Now I have to adjust my maneuvers and all that, but really, this thing just flies so goddamn well. It really is just an amazing ship to fly. Right here. Gotta pull up just a little bit. There we are. This thing will glide for ages. My fuel time is at 8 days, which is pretty amazing. Because like this, I could probably fly completely around the planet without really having to worry too much about my speed dropping off or anything like that. So what about that other fighter I was showing you? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at it. Let's kick inertial dampeners back on. Coming low and full stop. I love doing that little maneuver. It's such a great way to slow down and get yourself exactly where you want to be. Okay. Let's drop down a little bit. Oops. Touchdown a little rough, but that's fine. Platform's a bit uneven anyway. So let's demonstrate this fighter right here, which I've called the hatchet, because it does look a bit like an axe. And again, like I said, this is based off of Wasted Space's design. Let's just peel some of this back here. And you can see the guts of this thing. So, a lot of small fusion reactors. I could probably get rid of one or two of those on either side, and this thing would still have more than enough power from this one battery. It's got a medium cargo container hooked up to a connector. Sorry, I'm having trouble with words again today. And all of that feeds directly into these 6 forward-facing Gatling guns. And slung underneath is an azimuth rocket launcher. And you can see here more small reactors, which I don't really need. This thing does fantastic for power. And I should mention, I think I already did, but this thing weighs about 73,000 kilos. This one, about 73,000 kilos. Their weight is pretty much identical, in spite of this thing supposedly not. This thing should be heavier. This ship should be much heavier, but for some reason, I guess it must be the reactors and all that in there, it's not quite as heavy. It also has more armaments. Alright, so enough of that. Let's get this thing in the air, shall we? Now it also has an oxygen generator and oxygen tank, a couple of them in there. And those are slung under the belly. You can just barely see them underneath the rocket launcher. And a design change I made, apart from Wasted Space's design, is that I put some extra armor on this thing, because I just didn't really feel comfortable flying this thing without some kind of armor, you know, the whole bare bones thing. But let's go ahead and get this thing moving. Now again, gets up to speed very rapidly, and I can easily do pretty crazy maneuvers with this thing, even more crazy than the other one, and it will not lose its speed very much. That makes this thing one of the most maneuverable ships I have ever built, and I really have to thank Wasted Space for finally convincing me on this wing mod, because I was not totally convinced. I was thinking, oh, this is probably really buggy, not that great. No, this is actually really good. I can fly this thing really well. I mean, this thing is just so much fun to fly in. Wonder if I could take it tree running a little bit. Maybe. We'll see. Whoa, nope. Not doing that one. Yeah. Oh! A little bit of damage. We lost a few parts. But yeah, also... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh! There we go. Yeah. That's one of the big flaws with this thing. You lose a wing, you lose the ship. But that's no big deal because these things are relatively cheap. Like I said, I could do without some more of the fusion reactors that are attached to it. And without those, the ship would probably be much lighter, much more agile. So, I don't know. I think Wasted is onto this. Or, onto something with this, rather. And, yeah, I'd recommend, absolutely, giving the Aerodynamics mod for Space Engineers a shot. Now let's go ahead and slap some armor back on this thing. And let me show off some of the weapons. So like I said, we've got the 6 Gatling guns, which are mounted fairly close to the center line, meaning pretty much wherever your crosshairs are aiming is where you're shooting. And it also has the wonderful azimuth rocket launcher, which is an absolutely hellish little device. Fantastic. This is an excellent fighter for planetary operations. Just the absolute best. It's nimble, it's quick, it's got a pretty decent weapons payload. Trees, there we go. Okay. Decent weapons payload. It's quick, it's agile. I mean, that's just incredible. Without a doubt, this thing is the favorite little fighter ship that I've ever built. So yeah. This is a little bit of what I've been up to, guys. So yeah, I'll see you guys around. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time.